Hey, still in the evacuation mode. I'm pre-recording some of my stuff here, so you'll get to see a little bit of the transition. It's just the fires, coming directly towards us. So the hills are getting filled with smoke, and we've been talking about several things about attachments this week, which is so perfect to recognize that the old idiom "it's all going to burn" there's no U-Haul behind the hearse. You can't take it with you. So part of what we want to do in our identities, that's what's converging. Chapter 12 and 13, the culmination of the book, brings several things together. The sense of our identity, the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, our sense of unconscious search for those identities. It's an unconscious search for equilibrium, is what Robert and Pastor David says, because this search for equilibrium is a sense of balance and stability. We're all looking for that. I mean, from the earliest time, you and I were searching as children. It's an innate desire, a compulsion, unconscious most of the time in those early years, that we're looking for something that will create a sense of equilibrium. That means balance in life. And we'll do anything to find that sense of balance. So even when we have broken identities and our sense of meaning and purpose is deeply marred by our brokenness, we will look for something that's at least an anesthesia. It's a way to medicate the fact that we don't have stability, we don't have meaning and purpose. And so whenever we try to escape into a drug or alcohol or sex or work or whatever the compulsion is, that new compulsion becomes my attachment. I attach myself to that thing to give me stability. When I feel so unstable, I just can't handle it anymore. And then I become addicted by that thing, so I just keep going back to it. I'm attached to it, and I go back to it again and again and again to mitigate my instability. So you and I, we're all addicted to something. For me, for the longest time, I was addicted to approval, to performance, to earn my sense of value and worth and acceptance from others, because that's where I found stability. When others loved me, appreciated me, liked me, that gave me equilibrium. If anything jeopardized that acceptance and affirmation from others, oh my gosh, I would be thrown into a frenzy trying to recapture that. So part of what I want you to do as we talk about these attachments is recognize how whatever you're attached to, it connects to your equilibrium, your sense of being, your identity, because we're all looking for stability, meaning, and purpose. So we attach ourselves to something that we think will give us that. And when it's in jeopardy or when we feel like we just don't have that, then we look for something that will just at least mitigate our sense of pain or confusion or brokenness. And that's when we're driven towards usually unhealthy, compulsive addictions. Of course, like me, we can be driven towards socially acceptable attachments, possessions, position, some pleasure. Risk-taking personalities are often in that category. A great little verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 30 and 31 says, listen to this, happiness or sadness or wealth should not keep anyone from doing God's work. Those in frequent contact with the things of this world, I guess that would be like all of us, those in frequent contact with the things of this world must not become attached to them. There's our idea of attachment. For this world and all it contains will pass away. That verse kind of slam dunks the whole attachment thing. Happiness can be an attachment. If happiness is my job or my family or my friends or my hobbies, happiness or sadness or wealth should not keep anyone from doing God's work. What's God's work? God's work is simply you recognizing that you're a child of God, And as a child of God, you want to be about the family business. You want to be about your Father's business. Jesus, when he was kind of lost at 12 years of age and his parents had to go back to the temple and look for him when they found him, he said, "Didn't you know that I must be about my Father's business?" It's the work of God. You and I are called to a higher work, a higher priority, a higher level of equilibrium. We only find that when we find Jesus. Today, regalvanize, refocus, reaffirm your identity more than anything else can be rooted, hopefully it is, in the love relationship you have with God. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.